Hello and welcome back to Think Outside the Blocks, your weekly Brickworld live stream, where we talk about thinking outside of the perceived rigidity of the LEGO medium and also thinking outside your mental blocks. I am one of your hosts, Mark Larson, Chief Brick Officer of Brickworld, and your favorite host, Ben Z. Cerberus Hauger, the guy on my left. Ben, how you doing this week?
How am I doing this week, Mark? I see that you have F for funsies.
Yes.
My F this week is for flu.
Yes.
Influenza running through my house, including me. I'm on the upswing, so that's positive.
Good.
But I might have to press the mute button occasionally in case I have a little coughing fit. I think we should be able to have some fun today anyway.
Yeah, I think F for fun.
F for fun.
A for anyway, and F for feel free to take as many breaks as you want, and we can certainly try to make a quicker run of show today than normal so you can get your rest. Or at least get back to resting and playing F for Fortnite, because you've been killing it on Fortnite. That's actually the thumbnail for this. We had our little meeting this week, so you could show me what Fortnite was all about.
Yeah. I got a couple different Fortnite worlds. We'll explore one that I'm working on now. I got two that I'm working on, but we'll maybe explore the one that I showed you earlier. It's got a lot done on it, but it's running into some limitations that we'll talk about.
Yes, I saw that. Yeah. That was a lot of fun. Was that really the first time, by the way, that you used your capture card?
It was. Yep.
Nice.
Yep. So we'll get to that. It was an experience, but hey, we got it to work.
All right. Well, as usual, Rob Claxton was here first tonight, and we also had Lego Team B and the pre-play gang. And we're looking for the rest of our peeps. How's everyone doing? If you are watching the stream and you've watched it before, or this is your first time and you're enjoying what you see, please hit the like button. If you watched it several times, you want to hear more from us and see when we post new stuff. Been posting a couple small videos about inspiration for building a mock, for sketching an idea, for improving an existing mock. That one's coming soon. And so if you want to see the videos that are coming up on our channel and see what else we have to offer, you can subscribe to us as well. And of course, we always welcome your comments during the live stream. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. We'll put it up on screen. We'll chat back with you. All right. So Ben, what's our run of show look like for tonight?
Well, I think we are going to start where we usually start, which is some free building. Maybe more so you today than me, because of the whole flu situation.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about my free time sucker, aka Fortnite. We'll have a little discussion about how to identify CMFs.
Oh, nice.
Which is our figures topic there.
Yeah.
I'll talk a little about some of the first of the year sets. I got a whole bunch of them. So if there's one in particular that we want to take a deeper look at in the space range in particular, I probably have it. And then you've got a Fabuland display that you want to show.
Yeah, actually, let me show that real quick. Just to make sure that we're plugging this amazing thing that I got this week. It's a minifigure case. If you guys like what you're seeing on screen here, take yourselves over to brickshellcases.com. We'll talk about them a little bit later in the show. But they made this one especially because they knew I was a Fabuland fan. And I was not the first one to buy one. It actually took me a few weeks after they got it in their catalog to purchase one. And they sold at least, I think they said 3 before I got to it. So we'll talk a little bit more about that, show you their website, talk a little bit more about the company. And if you guys are liking what you're seeing, go to brickshellcases.com right now and take a look at their products. I'm really excited about them. And if you guys like to display your minifigures and keep things off your desk and nerd out your walls, you definitely want to check this out.
Look like one of your minifigures said fallen over there on the top shelf. So you must have been shaking him like crazy, just spinning the display case to look at it, and you knocked him over.
F for fun facts, F for Fabuland, F for figures. Over time, their joints get really loose. And so what I do is I take a nail punch and I knock out that rod that holds their legs in, and I cover it with some just some clear coat, just a little bit of clear coat spray paint. It thickens it up a little bit. Well, I found it a replacement, not Clive. What's his damn name? Victor. I found a replacement Victor the crocodile figure. And it had not moved probably since I did that Fabuland fix. And so his legs would not move at all. And I finally, I had to put a good amount of pressure in there to get that thing. It snapped. Like I thought I'd snapped the Lego. It snapped so loud. But so I put a bunch of figures in here just so I could take a picture of it and send it to the owner of the company. Like, hey, I got my Fabuland case. Check out what I did with it. And a couple of these figures, their legs are loose. That's not going to happen with regular system minifigures, and it's not going to happen with the ones that I've done the clear coat Fabuland fix to. But yeah, good point. Some of them are
a special fix.
falling their asses over in there. Yeah, it did not happen with regular Lego minifigs, and I can prove it. It'll take me a while, but I can prove it.
Yeah. And everyone's Rob is maybe trolling us slightly, asking how's the weather.
It's probably worse up your way, so I'll start. We're at -9 right now.
I don't know what we're at. We are in a wind chill advisory. I think it's a little warmer up here. Obviously, all we heard about yesterday was the freezing temperatures in Kansas City for the Snow Bowl. We're at -2 right now. So
really?
We're not quite in the vortex. But normally it is a little colder up north here.
We're at, because of the damn lakes, we get a bit more of the vortex. You should get it too. I mean, lakes are close enough to you. But anyway,
plenty of lakes.
I'll stop complaining. Yeah, but not like the ocean-sized ones. Let's see. So I was right. We're at -9, but real feel with the wind chill. I guess the wind just picked up. We're at -16.
Real feel. I love that one.
I have 2 puppies in the house that we brought here today because we can't take them to the dog park on a day like this. And so they were here to play with each other, and they have just been staring at me as I've been working all day like, hey, when are you going to be fun? Like, they will not play with each other unless one of us is watching them. And Matt's been in and out all day. And so, like, I have one asleep behind me right now. The other one's up in her bed in our bedroom. They're not even on the same floor of the house. I'm like, you two are both less than 2 years old. You guys need to be playing with each other and getting all your wiggles out because this is your only opportunity. So Matt's going to take them back to Cheeto's house, and Cheeto's dad owns a gym, and he's going to run them around the gym for like 20 minutes before he brings dinner home tonight after the live stream.
Oh, that's adorable.
Yeah.
What a pleasant life with no flu at your house.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do like this. Paige Pritchard said, F this snow and cold. Yeah, I believe you brought this one up already. But I agree. F the cold. I do love the snow. Like we had 2 winter weather advisories here this week, and the first one was supposed to bring like 6 inches of rain. I'm sorry, 6 inches of snow, but then it turned into rain because the lake keeps the area too warm. It kind of holds in a couple extra degrees of temperature, so it was 34 all week until yesterday.
Yeah.
So that first snowstorm turned into a bunch of crappy rain. I was very disappointed. F is for Philipod. Do you know what that means?
I don't know. I think Doug is trolling us. I think that's Doug. I think he's trolling us. That's what I think.
Okay.
Yeah. What does that mean? I don't know.
I thought trolling was supposed to like trigger you. I don't feel triggered. I feel confused.
I don't feel triggered either, but as soon as we look it up, it's probably going to be something weird because that's,
Then don't look it up.
What? Okay.
Don't F for fall for the troll.
I'm looking it up.
Or don't F for feed the troll. Rob Claxton says it's between 45, the mid 60s during the day and between 20s to 30s at night where I'm at. Rob Claxton, I think what did he say he was? Is he from Dallas? Is he from Hawaii? I'm mixing up all my Arkansas, mixing up all my chat that I've met in person.
Michael Fujiwara is from Hawaii. I think Rob's somewhere down south, Alabama, Arkansas, somewhere like that.
Okay. Well, it sounds really cold there, my friend.
Okay. Well, apparently Philipod's some sort of weird something. I couldn't even tell you what it is. It's a made up creature of some variety.
Is it from a thing?
I don't know. I'm totally not going to worry about it. It is indeed silly, like I suspected. But that's all I got for you.
Georgia is where he's at. Hey, Jesse.
Georgia.
He is here. Jesse, what are you doing next Sunday? Because I'm going to be in Puerto Rico.
Ooh, fancy.
Yeah. F for fancy. Rob Claxton confirms that he is from Georgia. And then the Drive comic. The Drive comic. Okay, cool. Philipod from Drive.
Sounds fun.
Awesome. Hey, look at this. It's F for Fabuland.
It is Fabulantis.
Yeah, no, it is not Fabulantis.
It's Fabulistis.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
It's crooked, but hey, no one's perfect.
I see we have even more roof.
Yes, that's mostly what I was able to work on this week. Is the roof.
The roof. The
Excellent.
roof.
I'm doing some World Lights preparation, so I was hoping that would help us see the shape of the windows a little bit better on the
Okay.
first floor.
Okay. So how tall do you envision this roof being? You've got to come up
Well,
to some sort of
yeah.
gable top, or not gable, some sort of ridge top, and then back down the other side. And then you got to make sure whatever, roofing goes over this dormer here, that it connects nicely, which might be a bit tricky with your technique, but I think you'll figure it out.
Yes. So the center is actually, if you see that this post here,
Yep.
that's actually one stud over from where it should be to mark the center.
Okay.
So it's gonna go up to there. It's gonna be a ridiculously tall roof.
Yeah. Well, I
Which,
mean, you could change the pitch and kind of give it like that barn shape as well.
yes, I was thinking about doing that.
Okay.
I actually, this was my first attempt at doing that because my first pitch was so steep that it would have made it like, I think it was something like 35 bricks tall from the top of the first floor to the roof. And that wasn't, I don't have time for that. I don't even have black brick for that because God only knows where my black collection is.
I've got an idea.
Well, yeah, exactly. I know exactly where it is. For those who don't know, Ben and I are referring to our Dragon Ship collaborative that we did at Brickworld this year, which was completely black, at least the portions that we built.
Yes.
And it has murdered my black collection and the organization thereof. And so I have two bins that I keep going to, but they are in the back room here in the basement, which has terrible lighting. So my phone is almost dead because I've been using my flashlight the last 2 days. Hey, Ben, I worked for 2 days this week.
Oh, okay.
So I think and it's the first time in a long time I've been able to work for more than 1 day on it. I think so. We've got a couple things here that I need to work on. One is the roof construction itself. I'm kind of floundering here with how everything is going to be connected.
Yeah.
And it's leaving because I'm insisting on using that same pattern for the wood framing going up. There's a huge gap. Right here.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm not happy about that. Like I want to jump in and like look at the instructions from the medieval blacksmith shop and just copy at least the basic technique and get that down and be like, all right, what is it they did that made this work?
Yeah.
I also don't want to do that. And like the pitch we were talking about, I do think this is less steep. What's the opposite of steep? Anyway,
what is the opposite of steep?
Yeah, I thought there was a word, but maybe there's not. It's less
shallow, I guess.
shallow. I guess that's what I was coming up with too, but I don't think
Yeah.
I think there's an actual word.
It's
Anyway,
probably a better word. Yep, I got you.
So the it's less steep now than it was, and but I think it can go even lower. And I think what would be nice about that. Oh, by the way, I F for finish the back.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, so I instead of putting a door in the back, I put another window because it for an interior, gradual. There we go.
Gradual.
Yep. Gradient. Yeah.
Page also went with shallow, so you know.
Like that. But I think gradual was more the line, more along the lines I was thinking. Up north should be back by showtime. Oh, nice. Oh, so Jesse's available next week to co-host with you. That makes me feel much better about once again leaving town.
Yeah, what's in Puerto Rico? Just some fun in the sun?
A harbor where we'll be taking a cruise.
Okay.
To like, I don't know, Saint something and then Curacao. It'll be my third time going to Curacao because I've gone on a couple cruises. And
good old Saint something.
Yeah, Saint Ignatius. I don't know. Saint Island somewhere.
Yeah.
So I really kind of feel guilty about going on 2 vacations in a 12-month period, but we have not been on vacation since 2015, I think was the last time we had gone on vacation. And so, I mean, we're overdue, but also right now It's right before Brickworld, Indianapolis, Milwaukee, and Chicago. And
Yep.
so I'm having a bit, just to be completely honest, I'm having a bit of a panic attack how I'm going to get everything done with leaving for 10 days at the end of January and extending, like I said last week, I extended last year's season by 2 months, but enough about me. Let's go back to me.
Yeah, so I like that you've got the two different widths there. We already kind of knew that was happening because
Yeah.
of the front. So you're gonna have two different angles for the roof, which will be nice.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
I don't know. We'll have to see how it comes together, sort of, um, where the blank space is right now between the two. You'll have to fill
Yeah.
in the roofing behind, or the siding behind the lower
Yeah.
roof into the upper roof. And you're gonna have the same struggle you're having
Yeah.
now with the big
Yes.
gap, unless you come up with some genius method that involves, I don't know, cheese slopes and brackets or something to get a slope on there.
Well, I don't necessarily like the way the medieval blacksmith shop interpreted the original fan's design, but they did come up with something that at least closes all the gaps. So maybe it's not too bad to go ahead and look at an official set that was built by an official Lego designer and at least get an idea instead of being all like, no, I got to come up with my own instead of and banging my head against the wall, getting all of this done. Um, but I think if this if the grade of the roof here is more gradual, and I'm talking like much more gradual, like this first section, and then I change it to a higher pitch. I mean, because even looking at it now on camera, I see it from here. Like the height
Looks
of
good
that,
from here. Yep.
the height of this, I think the height's a little bit much. The height of the roof, the height of the this area looks a bit high to me now that I'm like not. Maybe I've just got the spacing of the timber off.
Yeah, it could be. I don't know. I think it's. I mean, the Fabuland size is already a bit exaggerated. I mean,
Sure.
it is getting very tall, but the whole model is quite substantial. It
Well, and you
might not
saw
seem like it, right away, but it definitely is.
in the Lost tapes, you saw that that like sheep house mock that I did where the sheeps are fighting the spider,
Yep.
the giant spider.
Yep.
And the pitch of the roof is ludicrous, and I love the way that looks with a giant roof on top. So maybe I will like it, but here, just to give you an idea, it's gonna come out to like here. Where do I put this? It's gonna come out to at least here. Like this is where
Yep.
the pitch of the roof is gonna go.
That's assuming you don't change pitch somewhere in here.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. So you like the height of it now?
Yeah,
Oh,
I
you
mean, I think it's
the height?
fine now.
Oh, okay, okay.
Um,
You want me to change the pitch so the height stays about where it is?
I think it can go up a little bit more, but I don't think you're gonna want it all the way up where you're putting it now. I kind of wonder though.
That'd be crazy.
I think it would be
Swamp house.
fine if there was some exaggeration. Like, let's say instead of going up, just
Mhm.
very consistently, it was kind of like a swoop.
Yes.
Kind of a curved roof that came up to a really high
Yes.
point on top.
Which is what I'm thinking about doing. And so in doing that to kind of exaggerate it, now that I'm looking at it on screen, I don't think maybe I've changed my mind a little bit. But I'm thinking about lowering the height of the deck so it's closer to the swamp. Because
Okay,
it'll feel more bayou-ish to me if it's not quite so tall. It feels like pagoda house height right now.
and that's not what you're going for.
I well, I wouldn't mind, but it's not pagoda style.
Yeah.
So I think the other thing too, if the roof is more gradual, where's my phone? If the roof is more gradual, by the way, I'm never working in black again. I can get more of this, like the original window shape, even on the roof, instead of putting that black bar at the bottom of this window. I could do like the curve effect up on top.
Yep.
Oh, you know what I forgot to do? Turn on my new lights. Oh, there we go. That's easier than holding the phone. Come on, dummy.
Hold the phone.
Yeah, let me do this too. There we go. Now it's not so wacky shack. which is definitely an adjective.
It's one I use a lot.
Wacky Shack. It's actually a line from The Simpsons.
Wacky Shack.
All right. So, any other feedback for this? Because I do have another quick little one to show.
Yeah, I mean, I think the roof is going to be the big challenge here.
Hell yes, it is.
Based on just covering the gap, but also based on how tall it's getting. I do think you need some version of exaggeration here.
Yeah.
And the barn roof was kind of my first thought. I don't know that I like that so much. I think it might be better if it started really shallow and then came to a steep point, sort of a more of a ramp like looking approach almost.
Which is 100% what I thought I was doing.
Yeah.
And then I did that with this gradient for the first 3 rows, and then tried to change the pitch steeper, which was going to make it like 90 bricks tall.
Yeah.
I've got to go the other direction.
You gotta get it even flatter.
Yes.
Start
much flatter.
Yeah.
But you can kind of see in this week how I accomplished that water texture. It's just a bunch of transparent trans
they
neon
round. Yep.
But it's it's the neon yellow, or is it neon green? I can't remember.
I think it's neon green.
I think so too, because I don't like the neon yellow. I think I got as much of that green as I could to kind of make that sort of glowing algae. I do want to try to get some black light underneath this. Jesse's Bricks Galaxy is stuck trying to build a roundhouse. Look at us trying to build a roundhouse roof. That is craziness angles. Yes, very much so. I look forward to seeing that. Hopefully you bring that to next Sunday. Bring your process, man, because that's what we're all about here is talking through the process and figuring out how to tackle big problems and thinking outside the blocks. And I can't think of anything more outside the quote unquote blocks than a roundhouse roof. So would love to see that. Can't wait to see how you solve it. Yeah, nothing else on this has really changed. I think one thing that like lowering the height of the deck will do is also giving the opportunity to just like reimagine this specific module and perhaps move the house over and create a shorter staircase to wherever we end up putting that staircase.
Yeah.
And just make it look a little bit more. I mean, when you think of something that's like, if you think of a house in the swamp, in retrospect, I don't think I'd imagine something that's quite this high off of the swamp. Thank you, Anna Nicole Nathnagal.
Yeah.
Nathnagel, but probably.
I think that's more common when you see these bayou shacks. They have the little post to keep them out of the swamp, but they're not way above the swamp. They're still pretty close. And I think maybe that brings up, sort of a very general discussion about when do you admit that something is not going quite the way you want and make a big change, as opposed to kind of trying to stick it out and add more and see if you start liking it better.
I mean, we had a discussion recently where you and I talked about my green stacks of 2x4 bricks that were holding up the waterfall for the orchard and the Fabuland City Garden, and how they didn't really work. They didn't transport well. And so when I was building this, there's an entire Technic frame in there. Even the towers are connected with lift arms. So to shorten this, it's gonna be a big project.
Yeah.
Luckily, the one thing I did last week in building up the base was made one single platform that the house sits on. So that'll be easy enough to remove. It's just going to be like a little aggravating that I put so much work into like strengthening the frame underneath it to just then take it apart later. At least I have the same like the method that I could repeat at a lower height.
Yeah.
But I want to move it over closer to the center of this as well. So it's easier to ship. It's easier to pack up and bring to a show, and then we can think about more what's happening on the left side from the viewer perspective of what's going on with this house. The other thing I struggled with as I was building this week is the fact that like if I'm making this platform lower, do we even need a railing? The closer it is to the swamp, I think I can just put some like wood posts here and there and not even worry about it being like fencing. Like,
Yeah,
the
I
wood
mean,
would be connected.
that's true. So when you think about a dock as opposed to a deck, that's kind of what you're transforming into here. They usually don't have railings.
Yeah.
And allows Victor to just sort of
Dive.
jump
Yeah.
right off the
Yeah.
dock or deck right into the swamp.
Yes.
Yeah, I think having a couple of posts here and there for tie-off points if someone
Yeah.
brought their riverboat up through the swamp.
Oh, a riverboat would be a cool addition to this.
It would be. Get
Ah,
enough
that would be
swamp.
great.
Get enough swamp. To come right up to the the dock. I'm imagining one of the ones with the giant airboat fan on the back or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
What do they call those? There's a word for those too.
I think they're called airboats.
Okay. Yeah, I think you're right. Or fan
Yeah,
boats. F for fan boat.
yeah, maybe. I think they're airboats, and they have a really shallow base on them, so they just kind of skim
Mhm.
across the top of the water. They don't go
I
in
love that
too
idea.
deep.
Swamp boat with fan on back.
Of course,
What's
it's got to
that?
be a Fabuland fan of
It is called.
some variety.
You are correct. It's called an airboat. Way to go.
Yeah, I've been on an airboat before.
Oh, it's also called a plain boat, a swamp boat, a bayou boat, or a fan boat. So we
There
were
you go.
both technically right, but airboat is the official definition according to Wikipedia and Everglades Safari Park.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
Let's see. You've got a
Yeah, change to a dock with a
suggestion here.
post and algae blacklight is going to make this even more beautiful. Can't wait to see it. All right, so now I'm even more motivated to make this happen. Thank you, Suzanne. Maybe
Jesse
rope
says maybe
railings.
rope railings.
Yes, yes. Yeah, or maybe rope along the sides and then leave an open front. Rope railings it is.
Mhm.
Man, I wish they made like a dark tan string piece. I'm gonna have to like figure out how to make it look ropey. You know, what I do have is the rope, the the dark tan candle piece.
Yeah.
Shit.
Could you take 2 or 3 rope pieces and just sort of twist them together?
Yeah, I could do that.
I don't
100%.
know. I don't know how that would look, but I've got a bunch here. Let me grab one quick
Yeah.
and see if they look good twisted up into sort of a rope-like looking structure. If it just kind of looks like a mess. I'm not gonna braid it here or anything, but let's see here.
I do like looking at this on screen now. I'm looking forward to finding that olive green cannabis piece so I can finish the tree, but I like the level of leaves that I put on the comb over cypress. I also do like the idea that you came up with last week of like putting a more cartoony color in there so that it matches like the aesthetic of Mark
Mm-hmm.
more. Let me go ahead and put us up here. Whoops, this is what I meant. All right, I'm just going to solo you again, Ben. I can't run the controls here.
So
Yeah,
there's 3 of them sort of twisted.
Oh,
the only problem is if you kind of loosen up, they kind of go all over the place.
What if I braided them?
I don't know. You could try that. I mean, that's how a real rope is kind of braided. I mean, it's twisted in a certain way, but
is it?
It's lots of strands. It's kind of
here we go.
Twisted and
whatever.
So who knows? I mean, it might be an interesting look. But
all right, so I think that's plenty of feedback for the amount of work I was able to put on this week. I'm gonna go ahead and bring over another creation real fast.
Yeah.
If you don't mind going solo for a second,
sure.
I can move the table around a bit. I thought I was gonna be able to make it happen quick, but I know if I move it right now, I'm gonna knock a bunch of stuff off. And Cheeto is sleeping.
Yeah, you don't want to make an angry Cheeto. That's pretty much the worst.
Hi, baby girl.
I know a lot of people are getting excited for Brickworld Chicago already, but my first one will be Brickworld Milwaukee. But I have a display coming up before then for those of us in Minnesota. February 3rd, I believe, is the grand opening for Bricks and Minifigs in Roseville, Minnesota. And I know based on the emails that I've gotten that there will be a Lego Master in attendance. And it's one of the ones that you and I know, Mark.
I wonder who.
It would be one Mr. Caleb Schilling.
Oh, nice.
So I'll get to see Caleb. He was just on the Celebrity Holiday Special Edition. I'd seen him. He didn't have an official invite to the opening of the first store in Minnesota, but he showed up anyway because he's local. And he told me that he was going to be on the show. He wouldn't tell me who his celebrity person was. It ended up being Nene Leakes.
Oh, nice.
So hopefully he had a lot of fun doing that. I'll get the full details. I've only been able to watch the first full episode before with my son before we all ended up with the flu. So I haven't seen the second episode yet. I'll have to catch that before I see him in a couple weeks. So if you're in Minnesota, February 3rd, come out for it. All right, we're back to the Panda Pagoda House.
Yep.
Is that what we were calling this thing?
That is.
Yeah.
Where's my panda? Because I need some focus here. No, it did it on its own. So this is the only update I was able to make. I got the parts into to change that window the way we wanted it to be. We, what would you say? We imagined it would look by the way it was described.
Yep.
What do you think?
I like that.
Yeah.
I think that I think the way that it's structured there. Before, didn't we have some issues with, you had one that was a different height than the other or something,
Yes.
and it just kind of looked a little crazy in there. I think it looks better parallel like this. Were you looking for any of the pure white panes to put in there, or did you sort of resign yourself to doing it this way?
I do have those. Do you want to see what it would look like?
Yeah.
All right, give me another minute.
I mean, I guess that's more accurate, for a lack of a better term. I suppose they would slide open or something in order to actually give you air, but
it is. But I wanted to do that with the doors.
Okay.
But the windows often match in a pagoda.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
But I think one of the other options I had tried during that episode was this.
Yes.
Yep. Which I rely on for like everything for texture and looking fancy. And that was definitely not like pagoda-esque. So, and thanks to, by the way, D's Bricks, who, if you guys don't know, is not only an influencer on TikTok and here on YouTube as well. He's got a prolific brickling store, which is actually making his own website, kind of control the platform himself. But he's got a great collection. So if you're looking for pieces, he's one of the stores that ships domestically. That always has a really big stock. So I have a tendency to check him first, check a couple other places first, but he's made my list of like the stores that I check before I check others. So when you're looking for pieces, look for D's Bricks. Now, just to be completely transparent, he does work for me as well.
He does on occasion, yes.
But I wouldn't say that if I didn't mean it.
Right. Well, transparency is good. Superhawk Bricks is saying hello to I assume that's two favorite streamers. My two favorite streamers, as in me and you, the number two, not TO2.
Yeah, full disclosure once again, Superhawk works for me as well.
Yeah.
They do an amazing job with our interactive displays. They actually created most of them on their own. The bucket ball challenge, they have the ring toss challenge, the Duplo penguin icebreaker, which I conceptualized, but they actually made happen. But they keep the crowd active and they welcome people. We always put them up by the front of the hall, and they've brought some new sort of like Brickworld is about family activity sort of feel to our expos. I adore them both. Anyway, enough about the people who work for me. What do you think?
There you go.
I know, right? Okay, I was afraid of this. Yeah.
I mean, it strikes me more as pagoda-y. I don't mind the other version.
Same.
But if I was going to pick,
yeah,
this one says more what you're going for, I think, than the other.
I agree. I want to. I thought I had these windows out, so maybe I should not try to do this at the moment. But yeah, like the idea of doing it as a door. Oh, here they are. Hold on.
Paige is spreading malicious rumors about you.
All right.
She
Well,
suggests that people don't know this, but Mark is secretly the evil genius who runs the entire world. Even if you don't work for him, you work for him.
by the way, Paige Pritchard does shows for me as well. She's more of a temporary employee, but I'm definitely hawking her wares right now. She made this for me. Is this not the cutest thing
It's pretty
you've
close.
ever seen in your entire life? And she specifically made it to match my personality. Happy but a little bit tense. Now, has she nailed it or has she nailed it?
Yeah, I mean that's
Maybe
about right.
She might have said anxious, but I
Anxious.
replaced that with tense
Yeah.
in my head because I don't like. I think anxious is a little bit of a negative term, but yeah, I think she said tense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
Okay.
it makes sense. I mean, how even if I was just happy before I bought Brickworld, I've become happy and a little bit anxious since I bought Brickworld.
There you go.
The pandemic, right?
There you go.
So, and she actually, this is available on her Etsy shop. So again, all I'm doing tonight is telling you to purchase stuff from the people who work for me. Brickshell Cases, by the way, does not work for me, but I'm going to tell you to purchase stuff from them. But her Etsy shop, please, Paige, if you post the link to this in your in the chat, we'll put it up on screen, and people should check out her stuff because she's pretty talented. Look at the top of this; it's sealed. This is all glass, by the way. It's sealed, and the top itself is wood. The straw is glass.
There you go.
Anyway,
very nice.
You say Paige Pritchard, I'm going to bring out some product placement. Too bad it's not our letter for the week is not P. All right, let's go back to this.
I think maybe we have done that letter before, but I don't remember. Lego Team B says that they're solid windows for sure. So you're getting some feelings that it's going the right direction for you.
So I'm just going to do a stack of 2 because I don't think they would be. I don't think the door would be 6 wide. I think it'd be more of like an 8 wide with sliding. But here's what it would look like. I'm trying to do my speed build best here. Failing a bit. I had to find the pieces. And I had to hawk Paige Pritchard's wares. I mean, even if you're annoyed with me, like hawking other people's wares, you gotta admit that's a quality product. Even if you don't want it, it is a glass water bottle.
With a glass straw.
Cute as hell.
It's quite honestly a very terrifying set of eyeballs on this show us emoji here. But here we go. We're stacking up a door.
Let's see. Oh, you know what? I like that. I mean, granted, we have to work with the frame itself to see what else goes around it. It's not tall enough.
Yep.
For a Fabian figure to fit in. Where's our panda? What happens when I clean and organize? I lose my Fabuland figures. I lose the characters.
Okay.
There must be some mocks in there that he wants to smash.
Yeah, he would technically fit in there, though. Be just barely over his head, so. There we go. Mr. Unfixed leg pivot man here. In and out and in and out. Likes your tree better than your gator. There we go. We're back in focus. You don't have to touch it.
I didn't touch nothing.
I know. It's just kind of playing around. It's just kind of messing with you.
Yeah, I think at this point, looking at the entire height of the building, I would want a wider door. I would want it to be something that slides. Maybe 2 doors slide out. I could widen the center. And they definitely have to be taller just for proportion to the rest of it.
Yeah. I think sliding bypass is sort of the typical thing. You'd probably want to go, a bit wider to go with something like that.
Yeah, because I mean, he'd fit through that door, but you don't want a door to be right at the top of your head.
Right.
I have one like that down here, but it's only because there's a huge soffit down here for the HVAC, and they actually had to cut a foot off the bottom of the door. So the doorknob, instead of being like here, is like down here.
They cut it off the bottom. I think you typically do cut off the bottom instead of the top, but whole foot probably makes that a little interesting.
1 foot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, am
Well,
I
I mean,
exaggerating? Nope.
I had a door for you in Chicago. You could have taken that home and used that one instead.
I'd still have to saw the bottom foot off of it.
Well, you could cut the top off that one, just
Right, just so
just
the
to try
door.
it off, just to try
Well,
it out.
I can easily reach that doorknob. It's at like my hip. I think Matt has to like bend down a little bit for it.
There must be some sort of mechanism to account and fix for that. I bet there's some way to do it with a second doorknob up higher and some sort of pulley system or something. But
Yeah.
that'd be pretty crazy.
Or some sort of bungee cord. What?
Or you could just not close the door.
True.
Yeah.
Everybody loves doors in the middle of the room that's already chock full of stuff that you're still trying to reorganize from having your basement flood.
Speaking of,
Yeah.
how is your basement doing, Mark?
Oh, it's just fine. I wish somebody would have given me good advice before.
Like who?
Like you.
Yeah. It's okay. So Mark discovered a couple of puddles in his basement.
Yep.
And of course
Again.
that seemed very concerning to him, especially with the location. They weren't particularly large, but they weren't near a drain port or anything else. And so, I said, well, it sounds like it's probably coming up from the bottom as opposed to in from something leaking inside. That sounds like a sump pump issue of some sort. To which Mark responded, "You're an idiot. I've checked that. There's a battery backup. There are alarms. Why would you tell me it's the sump pump, you idiot? Of course I already checked that." So what was the problem? What was the problem, Mark?
That's relatively.
It's pretty close.
This is a more mean sort of summary of what I said.
Well, you said it in jest, but sort of like that.
Yeah. Oddly, you know what's weird? It was the sump pump.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
So what I said to Ben was, "Oh, are you the dispatcher from US Waterproofing who asked me repeatedly if it was a sump pump?" And I kept telling them I just heard it go off. Well, guess what? And it was funny because Matt was actually on the phone and he kept saying like, I don't know what the sump pump sounds like. I'm like, it just went off. You just heard it. He's like, I can't tell the difference between the water heater, the furnace, or the sump pump. And I was like, why are you on the phone with him? Because I was losing my mind. He was not going to give me the phone. But what I heard is called an ejector pump. And it takes the sewage out of the house.
Yeah. So if your sewer line is high, well, if the bottom of your lowest toilet is below where the water line comes into the house, the ejector pump basically pumps it up so it can go out.
And because it's easier to put it all together, there's something called the toilet stack, where if you just want them all to go to the same place, they can. So all 4 of our bathrooms are lined up on top of each other.
Yep.
And so every toilet in the house and all the drainage system from the basement goes to the ejector pump instead of the sump pump. And I just dumped a bunch of buckets of water into the utility sink because I was mopping shit up. And so it was going into the ejector pump and going out into the city's, which the water was at least getting out of the house instead of me going like, let's dump it into the sump pump basin, which would have clued me into the fact that it was the sump pump. If I had just listened to the dispatcher and looked at the water level in the sump pump, it would have clued me in. But I was not in the right state of mind. Nope. Either way, it was the hose from the dehumidifier that was blocking the sump pump itself. But the pump was broken as well. So even the battery backup wouldn't work because of where the hose was. But even if I had pulled the hose out and realized that that's what was going on, I wouldn't have known that the pump wasn't working and that it was just the battery backup working. So it's a good thing that the guy from US Waterproofing came out, the field supervisor, to come check it out. I'm glad that's all it was. I was up until 4 a.m. mopping water up, and it wasn't the reason it was showing up in odd places is because we have a drain and tile system. So when the sump pump filled up, the only place the water had to go was into the drain and tile system. Why are we still talking about this? This is what this live stream is about: home ownership.
Mm-hmm.
So
sometimes,
if you want to set up your capture card to show what you've built this week, I can talk about our sponsors. All right, so Thank you. We're going to get back to this in a minute, and we're going to talk a little bit more about what we got. Full screen layout. There we go. But this is brick shell cases. So this is what I was talking about. This is what I showed to you with my Fabuland figure case. There's a lot of really cool stuff here. Let's look at sizes and prices. All right. So if you're looking for just something to sit here on your desk like this, that has, that you can show off your like favorite minifigures, they do have, oddly enough, cases that come with just for 12 figures. So if you want to show off all your collectible minifigure series, you can do the 12 figure case. It's $43 plus shipping, blah, blah, blah. These are all acrylic laser cut. They fit together really well. I put it together in about 5 minutes. They have ones that have like the Rebel logo in the background. They have ones that have the Disney 100 logo in the background. So they have all this special edition stuff, Harry Potter, The Simpsons. You can just put your box of boys. If you watch ACOB and you know what that means, you can put your box of boys in a little podium for Lego minifigures. All sorts of like Looney Tunes, the DC Batman, says Marvel Studios, but it's definitely DC because it says Boom, right? Am I missing something? Oh wait, no, those are Marvel characters. Don't listen to me, you guys. I have no idea what I'm talking about. Clone Troopers, Rebel case here. The really cool thing about this, like you see one here, display podium for 40 Lego minifigures is $70, but you can fit 40 figures in there, put it out, display it, nerd out your interior decor. If you go up here back to the menu, this is what I want to get next. I will say one thing negative about this product that I'm advertising to you guys right now. I do wish they had a 12 figure for this, just because I'd like some smaller cases to really nerd out my wall entirely with smaller collections. But these are the same. They hang on the wall, and the case front is magnetic, so you can change them out more easily, because you have to kind of pull on the see, look at this. So it's magnetic, case goes right on. Is it magnetic, or do they just come out that way? Get the perfect display. Don't quote me on the magnetic. I thought these were magnets. I think they are. Either way.
Don't you literally have one right next to you there?
No, I have the tabletop one.
Oh,
you have to pull that out. I thought these circles meant it was magnetic, and now I'm panicking. Yes, magnetic fronts. Look at this. I was right. Magnetic fronts. So these pop right off. So the reason they don't on the ones that I have, the podiums, is because they sit in this base to hold everything together. You can still take this front of the case off as easily, but if it was on the wall this way and you had to pull that off, you might pull other things apart. I really like what I've purchased here with the Fabuland one, and the I have the same one here, display case for 12 figures without any logo in the back. Again, I said $43. If you want something with logo on it, it is a little bit more expensive. The Fabuland one was $60 for me. The Harry Potter one would be $60. The Simpsons would be $70. Holds 16 figures. But yeah, check these out if you're into this sort of thing. Speaking of ACOB, this is who I met these guys through. They're actually our special co-hosts this year. They are co-hosting Brickworld. It's our first ever content creator host for Brickworld. So they're going to be doing a lot of stuff, including taking care of those, those sets that you would typically pick up at registration when you purchased a goodie bag. We no longer have that option, but we're allocating to them like 600 some odd sets for them to just randomly give out to people over the weekend. They're going to take care of things like that. They're going to be making sure people are going to be having a good time. And they're just a fun live stream to check out. They really know what they're doing, and they are very Star Wars specific, but they're also very Lego specific. You can see their last live stream was about the state of Lego Speed Champions. They talk about sales results. They talk about the 2024 buyer's guide. Like, they've got to, they're very diverse. They do tend to, they know the most about Star Wars. I would say that's definitely their expertise. And while we're at it, let's talk about these guys at Brickworld. They do all of the Brickworld shows. They've done a lot of fun stuff. Like Superhawk, they sit at the front of the hall, make sure people are having a good time. Yeah, they're selling product while they do it. However, there's nothing like people walking in and just having a good time and seeing something fun, like, here, hold this Lego sword. Hey, you want to wear a Lego helmet? Hey, look at all this fun stuff we've got that you recognize that you've never seen built out of Lego before. Great way to enter our expo shows and the convention, because they're at the front of the hall in the convention as well. And so check all these guys out if you have time. These are our sponsors in many ways. not necessarily sponsoring this live stream, but sponsoring Brickworld in general with all they do for us. And that's my whole spiel on sponsors. How you doing over there, Ben? You ready to
I'm ready to go.
show us some Fortnite?
Yeah. All right, we got to take this one out.
I
Oh,
got
there
it.
we go. Well, that's Fortnite.
Hey, look, I did it.
You did a thing. So here we are in Lego Fortnite. This happens to be a castle area
Yeah,
in
okay.
the grasslands.
So real quick, just in case people haven't played Lego
Yeah,
Fortnite.
I'll set them up here.
Oh, okay.
So essentially what Lego Fortnite is, it's kind of like Minecraft, but with sort of prettier set pieces, I guess. What you're essentially tasked with doing is collecting various resources. So I have an inventory, and here's my inventory of various resources. You see I have a bunch of granite. The reason I have all this granite is because, of course, I need granite to build castle walls and such. I also have to manage my hunger. So you'll see down here on my quick bar, I'm carrying a couple of foods that I can eat. I also have some tools so that I can collect resources. I have an axe for wood and a pickaxe for sort of everything else. And so kind of how you progress is you start with a very minimal village, and you can only build a very limited number of things. They have sort of these pre-built items here. So when your village first starts, the only thing you can build, for example, is this starter shack. So after you build the starter shack and you upgrade your village with, certain requirements, it needs various types of resources, you start being able to build other things. And you can see they get pretty advanced, including a giant log cabin, all kinds of interesting castles, as well as the Shogun Palace, which I haven't progressed all the way through because it is unlocked by upgrading your village in the Frostlands, which is the hardest biome of the three in Lego Fortnite to survive in. The reason it's the hardest is because you can freeze, and so you constantly sort of have to monitor your temperature. So you can see in the upper left-hand corner, that's my character. His hunger level is the green ring around him there, and then that little bar with the cold on one side and the hot on the other is the temperature that I'm currently under. So besides being able to create the regular old builds, like this back here is the Castle Manor, you can also select instead to just use various parts for the builds. And so there's flooring, there are walls, there are stairs, there are fences, supports and roofs, as well as furniture. So you can use all of these pieces to build sort of whatever else you want. So for example, we've built sort of a large shed area here where we're keeping all of our builds that let us take raw materials and produce something nicer. Like this is a loom that lets us make fabrics of various types. I'm getting hungry here, so I'll make sure that I eat some raspberries so I don't start starving. But what you will see, of course, I've built a very complex set of castle walls now. Sort of the downside right now, at least, is that I have built so much up in this area that it is labeled at a very high complexity. This is my kids' houses over here that they put up. They're pre-builts. And so it won't let me build anything new.
Well, you're not even halfway done with that wall.
No. And so you can see down here, right? I got a little glider here is one of the things you can build. So I got kind of a grand entrance on this level.
Nice.
But when I move over here, it's just a high complexity area. So I can still build one or two more things in here before it tells me it's very high.
It's not too grand of an entrance, though. I appreciate that, like, your ego is rather gentle. If I had a grand entrance, it would be like a freaking palace with like statues and like.
Well, there's a couple of statues.
Yeah, but mine would be like the statue of David turned around so you can see the butt. Like that's.
Yeah, well, I mean that's your jam for sure. I'm gonna build down in here, at least I hope to. Kind of little.
You built some more in here.
A little back alley.
We saw.
But right now there's like nothing in there because it's a high complexity area and I can't put anything else in. I put up this little roof here. So, I'm trying to build out this tiered entrance into my super castle. But I'm sort of limited now by the fact that I go from high there to very high as soon as I get over here.
Remove builds or move away. It's like the entire area.
Building is disabled. Yeah.
Oh God.
So I can't get to everything that I want to.
Move
So
away.
perhaps I need to do something a little more compact next time. But I'm hoping that this will get patched out because honestly, how can you have a Lego building game that
Right.
prevents you from being able to build whatever the heck you want?
Well, so in Animal Crossing, you deal with lag because it's not a very powerful system. Switch was built in 2016. They
Yeah.
really need to come out with a new version, which it sounds like it's going to be September of this year that they're going to come out with Switch 2. But yeah, for what you're playing this on your own gaming system, correct?
Yeah, so it is on multiple systems. And we'll go in here and look at my garden here quick too.
I downloaded it on Switch, so I'm not very confident I'll be able to play even to this level.
Yeah. But it is available on PC as well. So I have it on PC, and I prefer playing it on my PC because it's easier to operate. Though what you might be noticing if you're looking at me moving around here, I'm using a controller, and that's because I'm playing on a handheld.
Yeah.
Well, so let me quick here. The screen is black right now because of the capture card. But I play on this, which is essentially a mini PC. So it has a little better performance than say a Switch would.
Right.
But I because it's always online, I suppose they kind of have to cater to the lowest common denominator to make sure things are playable for everybody and don't get super laggy. At the same time, if it's just my world or whatever, and I want to just build it as crazy as possible, and there aren't any other players, and I either don't mind the lag or my computer can handle it, which it could.
Yeah.
Then I should be able to just build whatever the heck I want. So that's sort of the disappointment, I guess, but kind of the fun stuff we're doing right now.
It's a massive castle. Like you've been through
it is
areas several times, and I'm still noticing new things. Just going back to some comments here, back to the comments about my entrance. Subahawk Brick says no buts about it. Lego Team B says Mark's entrance mind-bogglingly complex area. Yeah, evacuate immediately. I love that it says either remove builds or move away.
Yep.
Move away in what way? I want to go back to what Lego Team B said. That's the longest version of "Sorry, Ben" I've ever heard. I don't think I ever got to that. Yeah, I'm sorry, Ben. If I had just listened to you at that point,
that's okay.
At least gotten water out of the basement. I don't know that it would have gotten our pump replaced because I've been oh, we fixed it. But yeah, sorry, I was a dick.
That's okay.
Either way,
I thought it was funny because you were just like, of course I've already thought of this. I'm like, oh, okay.
Lego Team B brings up a great point here that we didn't push Dot's pretzels during that.
We haven't in a while, though they are still delicious.
And they are still entertaining us. So, I mean, I think people pretty much know. Every show I go to now, I get like 3 or 4 bags of Dot's pretzels delivered to the office. So I think we made our impact with that.
The other thing that is kind of fun that definitely needs some more work, and I showed Mark this, the other thing that you can build here is what's listed over here as toys. And toys are things that have the ability to move. So you can use balloons to lift things off the ground, thrusters to move them forward, and then switches to turn thrusters on and off. The only problem right now is the system is kind of stupid in that if you flip a switch on, it'll turn on, say, every single rocket attached to a build, which makes it difficult to control anything. There are some ways around it that I've discovered, but it definitely isn't perfect. And so, hopefully that's another thing that they improve in the future. But I think, kind of the 2-part fun to this is that, first of all, I can play with my kids. This one is Miles' house.
Oh, it's cute.
And then this one over here is Mara's, which
I love
is
all
not
the trees
done. It's missing a piece.
She got a roofed up garden up there?
Well, the only problem is she's 1 piece short of being able to finish.
Yeah.
And she's in very high complexity area, so she can't put the last piece on. So
Oh,
now looks like I think this is Miles down here is adding a new build. So I don't know if he just got sick of living in the high city up there and decided he wanted his own little mansion down here, or if Mara
yeah,
put this down
probably.
here, I don't know. But someone's building. I think this is the stables in the pre-builts.
Nice.
Um, this structure that she wants to put down here.
Okay.
So
So once you put
yeah.
down a pre-built, how much of it can you change?
Well, so that's the thing, right? So here's what the pre-build looks like. As you can see, if I start building this pre-built,
Yeah.
it will let me add all these parts that it shows when I start building the pre-built are parts you can build with. So it basically just kind of snaps them into where they should be and then builds them. But as soon as I'm done building the structure, I can modify it.
Gotcha.
I can take walls out. I can change doors, which is what I'd probably do here because there's a quintillion doors in this build. I would probably use this base down here for something else. I don't need 5 doors.
Yeah.
You can see I'm starving, so that's not good, but that's okay.
Yeah, I
I'll
was gonna
eat.
warn you, you needed to eat something.
That's okay. I
That's
had the flu, so
yeah.
that
More
explains
raspberries, yeah.
why I'm starving. So we'll switch over here and grab some raspberries. But that's kind of what I've been working on. It was really fun to start seeing it come together until I ran into the high complexity area. So I started working on a new village in the desert, which I'm going to make more compact, but it's going to be also very, very interesting and intriguing, I hope, when I finish it.
To get there, do you have to run through a tunnel with skeletons punching you in the back of the head?
No, that was just for your benefit last time. So
That's great.
the other thing is a lot of the resources you need to collect are in caves. And the caves, there are 3 different types of caves. There's one cave in the grasslands, one cave in the desert, and one cave in the um, frostlands. And so each cave offers unique resources that you must gather as well. And there's an ice cave over here, for example. If I went into the ice cave, I'd probably instantly die because I would freeze and I don't have particular things that you'd want or need to explore an ice cave.
Anyone
But
else who playing Lego Fortnite? We haven't heard a lot of comments that people are also doing the same thing.
yeah, so there's kind of the overview shot that hopefully will become more exciting as time goes on. Right now, it's kind of suffering a little from big gray wall syndrome.
Right.
The part of that is because kind of got to get the structure in first, and then I can modify it to be more interesting.
If they patch that.
If they patch that, yeah. Right now, this one's kind of dead, so I moved on to starting another little village in the desert. So here's what a cave looks like. You can tell whether it's a frost cave or a grasslands cave based on this look here. So this is a grasslands cave because it doesn't have icicles hanging down. It's regular
All right.
stalagmites or stalactites or whatever the heck they're called.
See both.
Yeah, and if you go down into the cave, grassland caves are dark, so you need to carry a torch with you. And you can put the torch in your offhand, which is really nice. Because then you can see as you walk around. I won't run around in here too much, but you can see that there's a unique mineral on the walls, that's marble. And then there's a unique wood, just kind of this curly wood up here called knotwood.
So stalagmites are on the floor because you might trip on them.
Okay, well, that's good.
I can never remember if it's like I still have to look it up because I'm like I can't remember if it's you might trip on them or you might smash your head on them.
You stalagmite something.
Hey, sweet baby.
So,
Oh, you're cold. Did you go outside and play?
and you can also carry a shield, but my armor is tough enough at this point in the game that skeletons and spiders in the grassland don't really affect me. So I'd rather be able to see with the torch. And you can toss torches around as well to light up little areas. So there I tossed a torch. Now if I take my torch out and put my shield on, I'm getting attacked, but that's fine. You can see it's kind of lit up down there where I threw the torch.
Yeah.
So I can see better down there, but up here it's going to be pretty dark unless I
Paige,
switch to it.
Paige
So,
Pritchard says that she just downloaded it on the Switch today. Haven't opened it yet. I think it's going to
there
lag
you
on the
go.
Switch. That's where I also downloaded it. It took 3 hours to download, by the way. It's also
Yeah.
Ben and I were meeting over StreamYard, so
Yeah.
I might have had some upload download problems there. Lego Team B says no time to game when there's Lego to build. That's been my problem lately with
That's
like playing
true.
Animal Crossing, because we've had some big hits with some of our Lego Animal Crossing videos on YouTube. Is it's instant gratification for creativity, and so it's easy to get sucked in and get stuck there. And so it's kind of like finding the balance of how much am I going to game, how much I'm going to build, and I don't get a lot of free time. Joel and Child says stalagmites might reach the ceiling and stalactites hold tight to it. They're tight to the ceiling. See, again, I'd be like, are they tight to the ceiling or tight to the floor? That's not like
Who knows,
like
right?
might reach the ceiling or they might reach the floor. I don't retain either one. Might trip on them is the one that I remember the most. But again, I'm always like, is it trip or bump your head? But yeah, many ways to remember stalagmite versus stalactite. I suppose if we looked up the actual etymology, it might tell us why one's might and one's tight, and that might help us.
You could. Here I'll show you the other one that I'm working on now. This one's in the desert, as I mentioned. It's not quite as fancy, but there's something kind of fun in the desert that I can show you here. So there aren't a lot of enemy choices. There's not a lot of variety in that regard. This is one of the glitch areas that I struggle with as well. Is it stuck me inside a wall because I don't have a pure foundation. It's just like, here you go. You're stuck inside the wall. I'm like, well, that's useful.
The hell is happening?
Yeah, so I got to get out of the wall before I can go anywhere.
So
So,
stalactite comes from the Latin for dripping, and stalagmite comes from the Latin for drop.
come on, get out of there. Get out of there.
That's still not going to help me
No,
because I don't know Latin.
I don't know dripping and dropping either. Okay, we'll switch over to our...
This building sucks. Okay.
I don't know what I just broke to get out of there, but I broke something. Okay. Cool, cool. So now we're out. All right,
So
so
this is a
here's...
quote-unquote village, and it's like 10 stories tall.
Yeah. So here's the desert one that I'm working on now. So kind of similar in some respects.
Yeah.
But what's kind of fun about it is right now I'm working on this entrance and staircase. What I'm trying to keep on this one in particular is a lot of the rocky outcroppings and features to stay in.
Yeah.
And there's kind of two entrances. So
I like that.
the entrance is down in here. We'll go around and then up eventually to the top where the castle is. The end game castle, I guess, when we get up there. But the other easy way in is that there's a geyser here. And geysers shoot you up in the air. So here we go. We're just whoop, and now we're down into our village.
Oh, cool.
So what's kind of cool about this one is you were asking about, can you modify one of the builds? So this one's heavily modified. So this is that same stable that I was showing you earlier.
Okay.
Took out the doors and put in windows. And a solid wall over there, so I could put a bunch of stuff down here that I can work on.
Yeah.
I added a sort of a balcony all the way around, including a connection up onto the fort wall. And then this used to have a lower roof, and I took the low side of the roof off and added a wall here, so it was easier to walk around behind it. So, lots of cool things. Hopefully this one won't give me the same high complexity thing if I manage it a little better.
Control yourself. What's
Control
cool about
myself a little better.
Like, I imagine playing it, especially in sandbox mode, which is not sandbox mode, correct?
Right. This is survival, which, has the hunger and the fact that you have to upgrade the village to get more parts and all that stuff. But this village is at 10, so I have all the parts for the desert area.
So I thought this would inspire me to like build and kind of like give me a quick way to kind of see if certain configurations look good, which it could do that, but it looks like what it's doing for you is giving you the ability to like build without restrictions. I mean, in theory, and kind of like make these massive, massive castles
Yeah.
as compared to like doing anything that's going to inspire a real life build for you.
Well, it might, and that's kind of one of the things that I like about this. In particular, I think the big thing is that I'm trying to, on this one in particular, use the terrain and build around it, and
Yeah,
still leave some of it in, especially on this uh, desert one here,
yeah,
in order to sort of inspire some ideas about pathing and entrances to castles and other things. The other thing that's interesting, and I know I won't do this, I am pretty sure all of the pre-built pieces here are actually doable in Lego. They might not
oh,
have
yeah,
all
easily,
of the
right.
right colors, but all the gray parts are, I think, pretty clearly doable. Of course, if you built in this scale, like 16 long is a pretty typical width for lots of things. These things would be enormous, right?
Yeah,
They're not practical in scale at all.
yeah,
Um, but it is kind of fun to get some ideas. The other thing that's interesting about the desert here, you can see there's a little oasis out there in the middle,
yes.
and I of course want to build a castle on one of those ones in the water.
Yeah, duh.
But we'll get to that eventually. I've barely started building a bridge, and that's it over there. So this has been my time suck when I'm not with the flu, and when my kids say, "It's Saturday, Dad. Can we play Fortnite?" I say, "Yep." And then my wife rolls her eyes and says, "Well, I guess I got a free day to do whatever I want." So there you
Well,
go, Lego Fortnite.
I'm gonna say, talking about time sucks. You recently brought up on one of our live streams the fact that you were, oops, sorry, that
Oh yeah,
I can't remember what they were like people who question the Constitution when they're pulled over. Like, who are they?
sovereign citizens.
Sovereign citizens. My
My
hair's been.
favorite. My favorite.
Um, so my time suck that I got stuck in this weekend for quite a while was AI image generation.
Ah, yes.
Human versions of my Animal Crossing villagers. And I don't want to say how many hours I spent doing that.
It's
But
interesting what we find compelling.
well, and yeah, the way that
Um,
like your mind can like be like, "Oh, I want to do more of this." When you're like, "I never thought I'd be interested in such a thing." Someone posted a video on YouTube that was like, "Here's what human versions of my villagers look like." And I was like, "What do human villagers what am I human what do human versions of my villagers look like?" And so I was like, what's a site that does AI image generation? I had never done anything like that. I hadn't used AI for anything.
yeah.
Yeah, spent way too much time. Now, granted, I was also mopping up water and just needed an escape because we did not
Hmm.
know that Ben was right at that point, that it was the sump pump.
That's okay.
It gave me an escape, which I needed at the moment. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was interesting that I spent a lot of time doing that where I didn't think I would ever waste time that way. But also, like we need things. We need things to like keep us away from the stress of our jobs and our daily lives. I say that as the owner of Brickworld, which isn't all fun. There's a lot of businessing that I'm way behind on, and it's kind of like just I'll see if I can say this without whining about it. There's a lot of things that aren't in my wheelhouse that take skill in to run the company, and I feel a bit like uh, um, of imposter syndrome sometimes when I'm doing those, when I'm getting those things done. So the popping on Animal Crossing or building for the live stream or creating AI generated images of human versions of my Animal Crossing villagers
Yeah.
is necessary to stay sane.
Well, AI art generation is like a hot topic,
Yeah.
just in general. But there's also lots of fun uses too. So
Yeah. Well, one of the things I did notice about doing that, and we've talked about this on the live stream about AI generation image generation for Lego sets, like the
Yep.
Lego fakes that you showed that
Yep.
were actually very beautiful.
Yep.
I noticed that there's a default negative prompt every time you run a search, and I was using Mage Space, and it says remove artist signature, remove watermarks. And I was like, oh, they've got control over this part of the controversy where they're making this the default in the negative prompts to make sure that we don't see the artist signatures of the artwork that they're sourcing to make these things. Because that was one of
Interesting.
the things that people were complaining about is they create an image and they actually still have the artist signature left in it. And we talked about that when we
Yep.
yeah. And removing watermarks too is crazy. Because now
Yeah,
they're just pulling from all of the stock image houses out there, which are prolific. There's so many of them.
well, and a lot of these stock image places have they have contracts with people who gather them for them.
Yes.
And so sometimes, even though they might even say we don't use AI generated art, and then they accidentally end up with AI generated art in their portfolios
Yeah.
because some subcontractor,
Yes.
was unscrupulous or whatever.
So Paige
So,
Pritchard says they're making it easier to steal art, which exactly. And they're like they want this to be such a big thing, and AI is moving so quickly into the future. They just want to get around it, and they because they themselves don't want to pay artists to use their images in their databases. They just need something to base it on. So they could colorize stock images, like public domain images, whatever. What's funny about this? So my husband is a government compliance attorney, and he uses those types of clients to. Uh, they use vendors to get public available documents for certain clients, and what's funny to me is this is going to be like an American political conversation for just a moment. I promise not to do this very often. But what is hilarious to me is Michael Cohen, Donald Trump's former lawyer, fixer, whatever you want to call him. They filed an appeal for his parole so that he can, he's on house arrest now, or like he's on some sort of parole, and they're trying to like file an appeal for it. And so the judge was asking about these citations that they made in their appeal because he couldn't find any reference to him. And it turns out that Michael Cohen himself was trying to help his own lawyer, since he's also a lawyer himself or has legal experience. I don't think he's a lawyer anymore.
yeah.
And so he used AI to help him write the brief, and he didn't realize that AI would make stuff up. He thought it would only use existing documentation. And so he just ran it and like edited it, however, without like checking the actual case files that it came up with, just assuming that they were real, submitted it to his lawyer, who also did not check the validity of the statement, and sent it to the judge. And the judge was like, these cases don't exist. Like you've basically been convicted of
Bamboozled.
perjury, and now you're submitting a document to the court that contains references to cases that aren't real.
And
And he was basically like, oops.
It's kind of interesting because I've seen Michael Cohen, through the SovSit thing, then it starts trying to feed me other legal nonsense.
Yeah.
And I'm usually not interested in other things. I just want to see idiots, SovSit idiots in particular,
Yeah.
because they entertain me so much. But Michael Cohen ended up being like a correspondent with a legal talk group or something. And he's just absolutely venomous towards Donald Trump now. Not that I'm surprised, but I'm just like, I can't take him seriously because he's
Nobody can.
such a pill anyway, or such a
Right.
tool.
A tool.
And yet he's, like talking like he's such a big tough guy now. And I'm like, whatever, you idiot. But this just proves even further that he's a big idiot.
That's so dumb. F for fascinating. F for filing that one away. What's next on our run of show?
Yeah, so I think we are going to talk about some CMFs.
Oh yeah, you have a new magic way to identify these things, huh?
Well, yes and no. Mostly yes. Sometimes no. Kind of depends. But here's the big thing. So let's go to me.
All right.
And the big thing is, we'll solo Ben.
Solo Ben.
Here's the bottom side, flip it over, of a CMF box. And as you might imagine, the QR code on this side contains the information for which figure is in there. However, there's sort of two things. First of all, there are both larger QR codes and smaller ones. Actually, I think these are technically not QR, they're data matrix or something like that.
Oh, dear Lord.
I can't read the smaller ones with any sort of device, but the larger ones like this are totally readable by dozens of apps. I think I have one that's just called QR Reader.
Yeah.
It's not particularly fancy, but it has a little picture. There's me.
Hi,
A
Ben.
little picture that you can use. I have to usually cover up the barcode because it'll try to read the barcode instead of the QR. And it spits out a bunch of information. And so here's what the information looks like. So the CMF code that it produces when I scan the barcode is 6471962, and then 446R3, that's the second set of numbers under the bottom there. And then some other code, 13...
935710.
I don't know what that one is or why it matters. And then there's another side set of numbers that are the last digits. The only ones that really matter is this first string of numbers and the 62, which are the last two numbers
of the first set.
Yep,
got it. That means that's the goat.
Are the ones. Yep. So this is the goat.
Ooh,
you'll notice I don't have the barbarian listed on here because I haven't found one. Sometimes they're changing out stock all the time. So sometimes the larger barcodes are on certain figures and not others. The other thing that I'll tell you is that if you go to the same store and they're all from the same batch, after you find one, like this one, where I scan this one, this 446R3, all of those are the same figure if they're from the same batch. They are not necessarily the same figure if they're from different batches, though. So,
yikes.
So really, the barcode scanner is the better way to go. So here's another one. I can tell you right now that I'm pretty sure that this one is the Bat Lord. So if I scan it, it's going to come up and say that the last two numbers on there are 70.
Yep.
And that matches Vlad the Bat Lord. So if I open this, I should find the Bat Lord in here.
How'd you identify that so fast, by the way?
I don't know. Just came up. And what I did was I got ones that had different. I found ones that had this number being different all at the same store. And then I scanned the code and it came up with the number, and then I saw what figure was inside. And then I wasn't sure if that 446R3 would always be the same one.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out it's not universal if they're from different batches. But anyway, it's supposed to be Vlad the Bat Lord. And look, it's Vlad the Bat Lord. So it works if you have the larger barcode. I don't know how to read the small one yet. But
Paige Pritchard says, no doubt those who like the thrill of randomness like me can be surprised.
You can still choose to do that if you want.
100%.
But when you're down to that last figure and you only have a 1 in 12 shot every time you try to find the right one, or me when I had all of them but the train kid, it's not so fun. Much easier to do it this way. You'll notice the barbarian is missing from my list. That means it's either 71 or 59. I think it's 59.
Really?
The last two numbers, but
all right.
I don't know. It's one of the two. So anyway, that might help you if you're on a CMF hunt and you want to become a goat herder like me. Might help you find some goats or some Bat Lords or both.
Sometimes it's like I get a little bit of both, where I'm like, I like the element of surprise, like just grabbing a bunch and saying like, hey, what am I going to get? And then if there's something I want and I want to go out and purchase and know what I'm purchasing, the goat, let's say I want to go buy 50 goats. Mm-hmm. I would like to know that code there. So I go a little bit back and forth. A little bit of Paige, a little bit of Ben.
Yeah, you know the other disappointing thing, the first store I went to, so I checked to make sure all the codes were different.
Yeah.
The dog trainer person, was that on my list?
I don't know.
I don't see it. I didn't see her on there. Oh yeah, 67 dog.
Dog.
The one I opened, someone had opened it, took the dog out, glued it back together, and returned it.
Glue. What?
And I could tell it was glued back together because when I reopened it, there was kind of wet glue on the side.
Did you take it back then?
No,
Oh, okay.
no, but I just got
After that, I
I
wouldn't
just
even
got a
buy.
second. That's $5,
I'm like,
but
eh.
still, you know. But I was like, okay, but just the dog.
Right.
So they could have just put a bunch of random pieces in there if they were really
That's
feeling
true.
cheeky.
Right. Or just like some pistachio shells.
Yeah, something that rattles that sounds kind of like Lego.
Yeah. I don't know how I came up with this so quickly, but that's why I said pistachio shells. So Paige says, this is what I was hoping Lego would do. If you care, you can know ahead of time. And computer somehow ate the first part of my comment. Okay.
hmm
Oh,
Yeah, and
look, I triggered some fireworks.
yeah, I mean the only thing that's sort of
Dog groomer.
the dog groomer. Yeah, the only thing that's sort of a bummer is I can't read the small barcode yet or the small QR code. There might be some way someone might develop it. I don't know. I suppose you could physically examine each barcode or the QR code thing
Yeah.
and see which ones look the same and which ones look
Me-
different. But
memorize
that's
where the
way more than I want to do.
yeah.
I'll just go to a different store and hope they have different ones with a larger QR code.
This is the dog trainer. He can't groom because his hands are not available.
That's true. You can't do any grooming.
Thank you, Monica. So we're talking about first of year sets now, correct? You do have a
Sure.
backboard.
Yeah,
Was that a
there he
backboard?
is. Yeah, just put them together.
But you don't know the code.
I do for the Batlord. I don't know for the Barbarian.
Barbarian. Oh, I'm sorry. I mixed
Yeah, it's 59 or 71.
my implicit
I think it's
bias.
59. Yeah. But I couldn't promise you that. It's one of the two.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So you have some first of year sets, huh?
I've got
quite
a
a bit.
ridiculous number of the space ones.
I still just have two.
Yeah.
I have the F for Friends, the stargazing camping trip. Hello, brain,
Yeah.
wake up.
This
Monica
one.
Gray says, thus far, everyone is telling us the small ones can't be read.
Okay. Yeah, I mean maybe not yet. Doesn't mean someone won't be able to develop that. I suppose if you could create your own custom app and charge $1.99 for it that could actually read the QR codes, make yourself a bunch of money.
Nice. Oh, wow.
This one in particular, I was drawn to.
Unopened, huh? I'm also drawn to
Still
that.
unopened.
It's interesting the amount of tomato soup pieces. They are very small, but they have some interesting molds. They're doing a lot of this roller coaster track.
hmm
We have the 3x3 quarter round tile in the tires.
Yep.
And is that a little ugly? No. That's a graphic, isn't it? There's no tomato soup
This
rock
one.
piece. Yeah,
It's
that's
not.
graphic.
It's not tomato soup. That's actually dark orange, I believe.
So there is a rock piece in there.
Yep, but
in dark orange.
But it's dark orange instead of tomato soup.
But the rest of that module is tomato soup. Oh no.
That's all dark orange, which is makes me happy because at least then I know dark orange is still around. I also like the robot who's helping out there. I think he's super cute.
Yeah, he looks friendly.
So this set I might open soon and give some ideas on whether or not there's some cool techniques or cool pieces that I spot in here that we haven't already come across.
During our meeting this week, we discussed live building first of year sets.
Yeah,
I think
at some point.
We're definitely not doing that tonight.
Right.
Yes.
We'll have to do that soon, but maybe we can get a vote on which one people would like. I've got that one, and then I got this this bigger, meaner, or this littler, cuter one, but also space.
I do. Yeah, you showed us that one on Christmas Eve.
Little jet.
And that's probably the one I'm most excited about because that's a really good design. Hoping to get a bunch of those for our giveaways for Brickworld Chicago. The thing is, like, if Brickworld Chicago happened tomorrow, people might be really excited about that. I don't know how they're going to feel 5 months from now about
Yeah.
that set.
Yeah. And they have a 4+ one that's very similar, which kind of disappoints me a little bit. But you know, the other sets, the ones that you and I really want, aren't out till March. So these will have to tide me over eventually.
Which ones do I really want?
I would suspect it's the Technic Space ones.
Exactly.
So
Mine is the
and
F
me,
for
I'm all
flowers.
about the Animal Crossing. So
Yes, definitely. Mine is definitely F for flowers and watering can. That's what I'm excited about.
that one's already out.
Yeah, I know. So the March sets are definitely going to be good. And so as long as we're talking about like first year sets and like new stuff, um, there was an accidental leak from a third party AI company that seems to confirm that September of this year we'll get the Switch 2. Anybody care? Anybody? Anywhere? I
Oh,
know
oh, wait. I've got to turn our favorite. There we go.
Nintendo
It's
tips from
time
Mark.
for some Nintendo tips from Mark.
Sorry, I was scrolling through the new Lego sets for first of the year, and I got really excited about the Hedgehog picnic date. So my mind
Yes.
Nintendo tips.
We could live build that, of course.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
going nowhere.
Yes. I think we should buy a few copies each and like do a seed challenge
Turn
build
this into something that
during the
doesn't suck.
show.
Go.
We'd have to have a third co-host to kind of like watch the comments and like talk to us as we're doing it because it'd be hard to like build
Yeah.
and like do all of this other streamy stuff at the same time. Yes, the hedgehog. So more Nintendo tips just because I mean the what's it called? The title is up. So apparently this third party AI company is going to be working with Nintendo slash like having some sort of third party edition where you can like it'll help you work on your gameplay. Not that it'll help you cheat, but it'll help you like set up your gameplay to develop your skills. So it'll learn with you what you're struggling with in whatever game, and then give you more opportunities to work on that skill. However, they put it in a press release about September 2024, partnering with the new Switch 2. So and like people have been speculating about this for a long time, and like we said
Yeah.
before, the 2016 Switch is a really low memory, really slow, really bad at connecting. You can drop your connection anytime for multiplayer. Has a decent like local play, so if you're sitting in the same room with a bunch of people on one television, easy to get into a game. But one of you might get kicked at any time just because it's glitchy, it's laggy. It's what is that? 7 years old now,
Yeah.
almost 8. So it's about time they come out with another one. They're way behind for memory and performance for like PlayStation, like way behind.
Yeah. I mean, they. In fairness to Nintendo, they for
Totally,
many generations now have
totally.
not been the technology leader in terms of power and
Correct.
graphics horsepower.
Correct.
However, they've gone a different direction
Yeah.
with the Wii, with the Wii U, with the Switch, where they're trying to do more interesting things. And so the games are more casual. They have produced, big high title top tier games that just happen to have a fair amount of lag that you just
Mhm.
kind of live with because it's the only place you can play it, like
Correct.
the Zelda games.
Yeah.
So
Animal Crossing,
Animal Crossing,
Mario,
apparently, if you get too much building, Mario.
but they're going or like Mario Kart. I mean, they like the speculation is that Mario Kart 9 will be the game that they release the Switch with. And then hopefully a new Animal Crossing title will come out in 2025. But like they know what people want. They know where the gaming industry is going, and three-dimensional gaming is what they need to focus on next. And so hopefully this will be something that is like has some upwards compatibility as well. Because they can't sit on another gaming system for 7 years and not keep up. That's one of the annoying like cycles that occurs where it's like every year there's a new iPhone. And and they do the version control where like after 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, whatever it is, like there might be apps on your phone that don't work with an older version of the iPhone. But that's also where technology is going. Like it's just advancing so quickly. Um, remember being a kid and having a dot matrix printer and a highly pixelated Apple IIe. Paige says Nintendo has been focused on fun games, not tech mastery. It's worked for them so far, and I like it. They need to focus on both a little more, though. I mean, I think that's that's where like the like phone companies, gadget companies, device companies have definitely kept up more with the way technology moves forward. Because I think that should be Nintendo's mission statement, and that is what their brand is good at. But they they need to like kind of keep an eye on both to make sure that all their customers are happy. Because even if like the fun gaming doesn't have the technical mastery of being able to do what people want to do and have like like Ben's dealing with now with the extremely high complexity area.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you'll be designing an area in Animal Crossing. It'll just suddenly like you have too many flowers and you're not gonna be able to run through this patch real quick. Ben, take over for me for just 1 second.
Sure. Yeah, and I think the big thing for that is that when we're producing new consoles, and I think what's kind of interesting for Nintendo in particular, now it's Nintendo tips from Ben, changing it up, is that when PlayStation or Microsoft or the Xbox comes out with something, they're like right at the current generation, sort of the maybe slightly behind what a top tier PC does, but they're still in like the same general generation. Nintendo's starting 2 generations back. So then if they don't produce anything new in 6 years, they feel like they're 15 years behind. I mean, that's a little extreme, but they feel much farther behind. And yeah, the game design is different because what's so cool about the Switch is it's both a handheld and it's dockable. And if it wasn't for the Switch, I don't know if I would have one of these, which is great for me because I can play PC games on it. I can play Fortnite at a much higher resolution, and I can just plug this thing in to the capture card here and play it on stream. Maybe we'll do Brick Nights or something instead of
Yeah,
Brickworld Crossing.
yeah, that is cool.
So
I
it is,
definitely
it's
do
really
that.
cool. And they've started producing. There are several companies that are coming out with stuff like this for PC games.
I'm enough of a
So
nerd, and having gone through, the lockdown and the pandemic and all that sort of stuff after, uh, buying a public event business and not being able to run it, my escapism was Animal Crossing. But I picked up The Sims during that time too, which
any
you're bored,
what if you used AI to convert your Sims characters into Animal Crossing characters?
which is what that image. So when I started The Sims, all of my characters in The Sims were my mental idea of what human versions of my Animal Crossing characters would look
Aha.
like. So I created this entire village until I realized that like you can't really control everybody at the same time unless they all live in the same house. I was like, look, it's my village. Like anyway. So exciting news leaked last night. They're releasing a DLC for Sims 4 for castle building.
Ooh, interesting. Too bad Castle sucks.
Castle sucks so much that you've spent like most of your free time recently building them in Lego Fortnite.
Yes.
Castle's horrible.
It's the worst. That's why I've done that. Doesn't make any sense to me why anyone would like Castle.
Give me another.
There was one new set that was announced as well. It's this Kingfisher bird one. It wasn't. It was kind of confusing when I saw it, but let me see if I can find it here quick. I guess I don't know a lot about what a kingfisher is supposed to look like. But this is not what I thought it would look like. But what do I know? I'm probably just an idiot. So let me open a couple of them. All right, so here is the kingfisher bird. Let's present. Share screen. Share the entire screen. Share screen 2. There we go. So here's the kingfisher bird. I like the colors.
Whoops.
like the base.
That's a much better image of it than the first one I saw.
Yeah, this I think is the box picture
The
up
box picture
here.
is not great. Doesn't make me excited about it. I like the
Yeah, this one's very confusing.
yes, yes. I like the I can't remember what they're called. Um the foliage in the back, the
The cattails,
cattails, thank you. That's what I was
yep.
looking for. Look at the
Couple
olive green
fern
dinosaur tail.
pieces.
Are those
Yes.
new?
I don't know that I've seen them in olive green. They had that monster from Doctor Strange.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if I've seen the Technic connector
There we go. Oh,
in
nice.
that color. Maybe I have, maybe I haven't, but I have seen the tails from that.
Well, the dark blue, dark azure, and those olive green plant pieces worth the price of purchase here. Jesse
I've also
suggests
got
that
some more of those feathery bits in sand blue.
Jesse suggests that castles are boring. Dungeons. that's that's where it's at.
Dungeons are where it's at.
Cattails.
So
Chris James.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I like the colors on this set, but the first picture I saw was this one.
Yeah,
Was the
same.
box picture, and I was like,
Huh?
that
Yeah.
looks dumb.
It looks yeah. It looks
This looks
squat and weird.
This looks
Yeah,
much better.
I agree.
Yeah, these angles make it look much better.
You know who I found out recently plays Dungeons and Dragons?
Who's that?
My 21-year-old niece.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like, go.
Why
Girl,
not?
you get it. Yeah, I don't. Well, I mean, she never seemed to have that much nerd interest in her life. She was like, she rode horses. She was like, this again. I'm showing my implicit bias against things tonight, but I'm like, she was a normal, popular kid.
Well, I got that one guy, Joe Manganello, the guy who's married to Sofia Vergara.
Well, I don't know.
Okay. He's probably in Magic Mike or some version of Magic Mike or something.
Which I haven't seen. Thank you very much.
Big buff guy.
Oh, really? What's
I
his name?
haven't seen it either.
Hold on, I'll Google him.
I'll find him. Anyway, he is a renowned
I will
nerd
Oh, is he?
of
D&D is cool
Dungeons and
now.
Dragons.
That's not fair.
He was in True Blood. He's a handsome man. I'm going to tell you right now. Here, I'm going to share my screen so you can see. This guy loves Dungeons and Dragons.
I do know who that is.
Yeah. So he's in True Blood. So
haven't seen it. Is he a vampire?
I don't know.
He looks like the type.
I've seen him in a few things. Okay, he was definitely in Magic Mike Double XL.
So real quick, Chris James was one of the people who jumped in to remind me that they are called cattails. When I was a kid, we called them ponks.
Huh? Never heard of it.
I know. That's why I'm always like, don't say that word because that's not what anyone calls them.
Yeah.
But I can never remember what they're actually called. And cattails, I mean, it's a bobcat tail. It's not really like a cattail. Just to be stupid about it. Sorry.
Well, everyone calls them cattails.
Yeah, that's my point.
That's what they're called.
I have no problem calling Dr. Zevia Pop, but I'm not going to say ponks because no one will know what I mean.
So if you type into Google, since I've never actually typed in Joe Manganiello's name, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, seventh thing down is Joe Manganiello D&D. Manganiello D&D. So it's on there. The other ones are his height, his tattoos, his movies, Spider-Man, and just him in general. So
I'm like, I don't see that. And it's because I went directly to the image search.
Okay. Well,
I'm going to close that for now.
Anyway.
For now. All right. Any other first-year sets that we're excited about? I somehow accidentally clicked on the Crimson Firehawk. What is this piece of garbage?
That's is that a can you share that screen? Yeah, I think that's from the Jedi Tales or whatever, the Young Jedi Tales.
Oh, okay, so it's like a
young kid 4+ set. I mean, the figures are probably okay, but
by the way, as much as I hate lifestyle shots, this is fun. Like, this is actually just like a normal family.
They're actually touching the Lego.
They're actually touching.
They're touching brick.
They're not trying too hard to show us anything. It's like not some weird hipster dude with tattoos. Yeah, what? There's a koala and
a blue alien koala.
Yeah. And what is it, like a fruit stand?
Maybe.
Crimson Firehawk is an amazing name, but then when you
cool
actually look at the set, you're like, what?
Maybe the actual Crimson Firehawk design is better than that, but
yeah, I don't know.
Maybe
not. What else we got?
I got all of the space sets.
So you bought every single one of them that came up.
Yeah, I did.
Nicely done.
So, the other thing is we both have that smaller all-terrain one.
Yeah.
So we could build that together.
We could. That'd be so fun.
Enjoy it together.
How wholesome would that be?
That would be super wholesome.
I actually had the same page said it can't be Star Wars. There's not enough gray. That's also how I felt, where I was just like, it's really bright. But it must be like a Cartoon Network series.
It's on Disney Plus, of course, now, but it is cartoon.
Oh, yeah.
It is cartoon based.
That makes
sense. Was it the Crimson Firehawk?
Crimson Firehawk, yes.
That's a great name.
It's a great name.
Okay, well, I'll tell you right now, the actual ship
yeah
looks far less stupid than that one.
Well, can you share it with us?
Hold on.
Thanks. Hey, we've talked about most of these. We talked about the burger truck. We talked about Bowser's Muscle Car expansion kit set. Spider-Man versus Sandman. I don't think we talked about this one.
Here.
What am I? Yeah, that looks like an actual ship.
Yeah. And look how adorable, though. The little characters are tiny.
When
they're young Jedi.
The world is cute.
Yeah, but there's another picture of it.
Oh, yeah. What are they trying
to do? It doesn't look anything like that piece of junk that they showed.
The
wings are mostly white. They're red on the set.
I don't mind that they're going to do, 4+ sets. Great. Of course, I have no control over it, so it doesn't matter if I mind or not, but at least make them look halfway like the ship. That looks nothing like what we're actually getting. Again, for comparison, because that ship Ben's showing you right now is this in Lego.
Yeah, compare that. Compare that to that. I mean, it's got some of the same features, but not enough. Like the engines are in the wrong place.
Well, and they could maybe I can see kind of what they were going for with this, but like it definitely proportion-wise, it needs to be a lot wider, a lot more round in the wings.
The wings are way too small.
So cut the stupid fruit set. Like what? Why not just like?
I don't know.
Yeah.
My son hasn't proven to be a big Star Wars guy, but I think I could get Mara to watch this Young Jedi thing. Maybe I'll try that.
All right.
And I'll tell you if the Crimson Firehawk is straight fire.
Yeah.
On the actual TV show. But I'll tell you right now, the other thing too. So they kind of have this this other toy bit. Here's an Amazon listing for one. It's very, now that we know how to pronounce it, it's very chibi like.
What is happening?
But there's
chibi. I hate that word so much.
Yeah, it's very chibi. But this is like a good version of the chibiness, whereas the Lego one is terrible.
After seeing the real thing, with that character, it makes it more cute.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyway,
all right,
it's probably why we didn't talk about it.
I keep trying to go to this new set, and Lego. I've had a lot of trouble with Lego.com at least recently. I'm trying to go to the. Let me see if I can find it again. There's a new Technic set for like a secure connection failed. All right, so I'm out. I can't use Lego.com anymore. I don't know why this keeps happening, but it's been several weeks now. I'm blocked now from Lego.com using Firefox. Some sort of Technic icebox truck or something like that.
An icebox truck?
I don't know because I can't remember.
Okay, let me go to Technic.
Bam here. He said, "Hello, fellow Tainted crew. How is everyone? Welcome, Ryan. Glad you're here." Thanks for joining us. We got through the meat of most of our run of show at this point, so we're actually almost done, and it's not even 9 o'clock yet. This is
That's
the first.
probably a good thing. I gotta get my
Yeah, you got to
children healthy.
get well, and you got to
I'm
get
out of
yourself
the
healthy.
flu. Yeah, I'm like 85% of the way there, I hope.
Ben has F for flu.
F for
Well,
flu.
you came on like death warmed over tonight, so sorry that I thought you were sicker than you were.
I'm doing better.
Yeah, you sound a lot better than when we first met in the green room, for sure.
Yeah. Okay,
A lot better.
check this out. Is this the one we're talking about?
Yes.
This is a
Have you talked-
recycling truck.
refrigerated box truck, exactly like I said. F for finally in bed on time. Oh, maybe. Oh, dear Lord. So I had a F for fun last night watching the sun start to come up because I could not fall asleep.
I couldn't either, but for very different reasons, I would
Yeah.
suspect.
Yeah. Mine
We
was
left
just
the football games on all day yesterday.
F for football games. They were
Just
good.
kind of closed
Too.
our eyes.
I really like that Houston game.
Mm-hmm.
I just like to see upsets, even though it was a tiny one.
Yeah. Well, what about the big upset today?
I know. And do you know who I chose?
The lame Cowboys.
I
Here's the thing.
unfortunately did. I was going to vote against them in my bracket. I was going to pick the
team that shall not be named.
but it was the Packers. I was going to pick
I
against
know.
the Cowboys is what I meant, but it was the Packers, and I just can't bring myself to do that.
Yeah.
And so I stopped because almost every other part of my bracket is upsets. But I was like, I'll leave this one for the Cowboys because I love Dak Prescott. Yeah, Monica says, "Feel better, Ben. My kids are both sick for the first time in more than 4 years. In about 4 years. There we go. I'm like, what does that sign mean again?" Paige says, "Feeling the love."
Well, anyway, you got anything to say about this icebox truck?
No, it's just new looking.
Yeah, I think this one's already out. I like the function. The grabber arm is kind of cool.
Yeah, we've at least never talked about it on here.
Yeah,
I was just looking for things that looked like we hadn't discussed them, and that was the first one that came up. And so I guess I made too much of a big deal out of it just because I couldn't load it. I don't think we have any techno files here in the house. Oh, hey,
it's co-branded with Mack Truck.
That is really. That's a
Mack up in the corner. They did a big Mack semi truck a few years ago. It was actually a really cool set, and I actually got it.
Yeah.
But a small recycling truck that's Mack co-branded is kind of unusual.
Yeah.
What do you think these things are here? Are they supposed to be like crushed cans?
I don't know. What is the actual piece?
They're just the 1x1 round tiles. It's like they're crushed Coke and Pepsi cans or something.
They're trying to like
what are we recycling?
they're trying to encourage people to crush their cans, cut down their cardboard, cut their cardboard into 4x4 squares or 2 foot. I can't remember.
Ha ha ha. My kids also like to try to make me say underwear and laugh too. So
yeah. What was it? Yeah, we talked about the weather earlier, Ryan. It turns out it's a lot colder here than Minnesota right now.
It's a little colder there than Minnesota. I think our feels like temps were about the same, but it is cold.
Your feels like was at -16 too?
I think it was -18.
We've warmed up. We're at -11.
There you go. You've upgraded.
The real temperature has gone down. We're at -7 now.
So less wind.
Yes.
We are at feels like -19. Wind is making it feel colder.
So
plenty of visibility, but it's cold.
One of the options I had for the A&E order for Brickworld Chicago was that Friends set with the weird mascot.
The croissant.
Yes, and you know what I did?
What?
I opted not to get it. So now I feel bad about shaming you for not buying it because I didn't even choose it for the order. Felt like -37 this morning. The dog agreed. She would not even go outside. She's like, I'll hold it.
A real temp of -8 in Minneapolis. Then you should move to St. Paul where it's only -2. 6 degrees difference.
Just over one river.
Interesting. For like 5 miles or whatever.
Is that also the wind causing that? Because that's quite a difference for like,
That's a
yeah,
large difference, but
there's just one river.
my weather app says it's -2.
Am I making stuff up, or is there a river between the two cities?
There is.
Okay.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of the Mississippi River?
Is that what it is? I've heard vaguely something.
Mm,
Rings a very slight bell.
yep.
Very faint bell, I guess I
It
should
goes
say.
down a little after it goes through the cities, goes down a little further, and then it becomes the border between a whole bunch of states.
F is for frozen everything. Even yesterday, we couldn't spend more than an hour at the dog park because both our fingers were not moving. And so we're like, Orion, come on, we got to go. And she was having a great old time. Today, she wouldn't even go outside. But like, they make fun of me at the dog park because like it can be like 30 degrees outside and I'll still wear shorts. Like, that is not flying anymore. Like I had insulated everything on. The only thing that was missing was insulated gloves. And I was throwing the ball for Orion, and several times she's a hound, right? So she thinks her job is to kill it and wait for us to come pick it up. She's like, "There, it's dead. You're welcome." So we have to go get it and pick it up. And so my gloves were like soaking wet from picking this ball out of the snow. And I
That's
was
the
like,
worst.
I I suddenly have arthritis. Like I had to it took me an hour after getting home to be able to type and like put stuff together because I was just like my hands just hurt and they wouldn't stop hurting. These are good days for puppy pads. Oh no, she won't do that. She has a very strict set of rules and what's it called? She has a routine, and one of her things that she refuses to do is potty inside. And the only reason I know this is because her daycare doesn't have outdoor space. They have a huge laminated cement area where every other dog goes potty inside. And like people just walk around with mops and like clean everything up. She holds it because it's indoors. She would never use a pee pad ever in her life. Maybe we can train her to one, but yeah. So she went out there, she finally peed, and then she went devil dog. She just like, which is what most people call it the zoomies, where she was just like spinning. Oh, so
Yep.
unfortunately, Ryan, I have like 3 errands to run tomorrow, but unfortunately, Orion's going to daycare. But yeah, no, I'll be out a lot tomorrow.
And I suppose we should mention tomorrow, federal holiday, F for federal holiday, MLK.
Yeah.
Luckily for me, besides the flu factor, I work at a bank, so we're off.
Yeah.
Hopefully I can recover.
Right.
If I feel good enough, maybe I can even build something. So next week when Jesse's here, I can actually show him something that's built.
Yeah. Well, you also like, since you're in compliance, how often do you go into an office? Are you mostly remote?
I am presently, yes.
Okay.
But still,
Anytime. They're not always okay with that. People are trying to make the office happen again.
that's true. And everybody is very into that. And I understand it to some degree. Especially if you have colleagues near where you're going in. I sort of do, but I sort of don't. All of my normal day-to-day operation is talking to people who are nowhere near me. But I have other people who do similar jobs.
Yeah.
Who are in the area. So I might end up in someday. I would definitely not go in tomorrow if I had to.
Right. Monica Berry says that her forecast switched and said today is the coldest day this week. However, it still doesn't mean that tomorrow is much better. Like, so instead of the record being -11, it's going to be -9, which is tomorrow instead. Ooh, 2 degrees warmer. Like, it's far under freezing. What was nice is when I went to pick up Cheeto for the puppy play date that's been lasting all day, and they haven't played at all. Part of it is they're probably also cold, even inside the house. They're like, dude. The roads were mostly empty. Nobody is out.
Yeah.
Nobody needs their tires freezing to the road at a stoplight and needing to change a flat.
And I had to go get Rachel some nausea medication.
Oh geez.
That was super fun. And then yesterday I went to get Miles Tamiflu. And then I picked up, wearing my mask, if anyone saw me out. I was incognito. Also bought some Gatorade to try to electrolyte / hydrate us. Usually don't drink Gatorade, but
if you go out again, get Pedialyte Immune System Plus.
that's what I got, Rachel. I got her some Pedialyte today.
Good.
But this is mostly just to keep my mouth from being completely dry. So I had to get some of this plus some other things, and Target was busy. I had to park a ways back, and it was flipping cold just walking through the parking lot.
No kidding. Tomorrow
So,
make it up above 0 by as much as 4. Well, I mean,
as much as
it was like, I think our high today was 9. I think we got up above 0 today. But the wind chill kept us below 0 all day. Whatever. I can get
the real feel or whatever.
the real feel.
Like. The real feel.
So I'd say, what else we got in our run of show? I think that's pretty much it.
You already did the Fabuland display.
Let's show it again real quick because I want to talk about this one more time.
Sounds good.
Thank you for reminding me. I was going to replace these with regular minifigs, but like I'm just so excited that we might actually finish on time. Let's see. Where's my thing? Hey, so in case you're wondering how this works, there's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7 panels and then the base. My near vision is going. So where on earth does this come off? There it is. There's several places you can undo it. I'm just having trouble because it's way too close to my face. I can't see where the seams are. Here we go.
This is not a reflection,
right,
on the product. This is a reflection on Mark's old eyes.
Yeah, and it's also a reflection on the fact that like I haven't done this for a minute. All right, let's do it this way. Sorry, Abe, if you're watching. There we go. I can't get my. There we go. All right, so I took the top off instead of the front. The front does come off as well. But just to show you real quick, so I took the top off because I'm going to try to straighten these guys out. And this just slides into place. It's just laser cut acrylic. I think you should hold it flat somewhere instead of trying to hold it up in order to get this all. But it goes together like really easily. And then real quick, I'm going to take the front off. So there's a little stand in there. So like it comes with instructions. It's really easy to kind of put together quickly. There we go. That proves it, right? As I knock everything apart. Sorry, I should have practiced this. It just went together so easily. I didn't think I'd have to. Also, I'm trying to hold it up for the screen as I'm doing this. So I knocked a bunch of stuff over in the meantime. But as Ben was talking about, like these guys, like their hips aren't strong enough. That's why they were falling over. If you are putting in regular minifigures in here, they go directly on the embedded into the acrylic are 2 studs. So they all it's like
they all took a bow.
They all took a bow. So it's like for regular minifigures, you won't have that sort of problem because the hips are strong. Like they have good clutch power in the hips. Just because I have minifigures that were made in the late 70s, early 80s. Yes, they sell these at Ryan's store in Crest Hill, Illinois, as well at the Bricks and Minifigs there. Really fell in love with this right away. One of the things I really like to do is I've got my other nerd things from childhood. Like if you guys know the Roger Hargreaves series, Mr. Men and Little Miss, I have a bunch of like the 3-dimensional characters that they made of those, and I like to keep them on the wall just because it keeps them out of a box. I like to see them; they make me happy. So I would go on eBay and buy like old spice racks, and just like hope that they were enough to like fit into. They were the right sizes to fit all of the toys that I had picked up on eBay from random places over the years. But this is made specifically for Lego minifigs. I mean, I honestly think this guy would make a ton of money if he made ones that were like big enough for like Funko Pops or like other sort of things. And you saw real quick when I showed their site that they're making the right size for Speed Champions. If you want to put your Speed Champions on the wall, I'm going to go ahead and show you a couple of these other products that they have. So here we have, I'm going to go ahead and hit full layout. Where was it? It was the ones that hung on the wall, products, wall mount displays. So here you see that they've made one that holds the Speed Champions, right? So it's not just minifigures that they make parts for, and they've gotten to know the Lego community so well. They've made some of these, where you've got these like that. Nice. Yeah. You can put 5 helmets, 3 helmets, 1 helmet. And then they are working on making larger display stands. Oh, sorry, wrong one. Because this thing works so well with holding stuff up, they've got a number of things for specific sets. What I find more intriguing, I think those are great. What I find more intriguing is these ones where it's like if you have a giant set, like you're talking like Millennium Falcon size or something that's just big. Like here's one for the Avengers Tower. I've seen a couple more of their prototypes for this. They're trying to think about how you guys want to display things, how you guys want to keep things. What are the big sets that people actually want to hang on to and show off in this way and that are impressive to make part of your home decor. So if this interests you, please check it out. And know that I'm just not throwing this at you because they're giving us money. They're not actually because it's a product I believe in. I really like what I receive from them. I really appreciate their passion for Lego and for Lego fans, and they're listening to Lego fans, the ones that they're talking to quite a bit. This one again has the magnetic cover on the front. This is specifically for the Gringotts Bank. But I've seen some other prototypes that they have come up with. Maybe actually, let's see, sets. Let's just go check out all the sets real quick. Nope. So maybe they're not out here yet. They're obviously not, because I've seen a couple cool prototypes for some of the bigger like creator expert ones. But they're definitely working on stuff all the time to enhance our enjoyment of the hobby and be able to display what we do in our homes and make things keepsake and make things easier to categorize and enjoy. And again, nerd out with your interior decor if you so choose. So again, apologies for taking up time if this is something you're not interested in, but if you are, I highly recommend the product. It's very well made, very easy to put together, even though I fumbled with it as I was trying to show it to the camera. I think you'll see more of it. You'll definitely see it at Brickworld this year or so.
Very cool. I even liked the one that was just for the single figure.
Yeah.
You've got like that one prized figure.
Yep.
The single fig one. I think the Moon Knight happened to be in it, but you know, if you've got the Cloud City Boba Fett, that's what's going in that one, right?
Yeah. I don't want to I don't want to give anything away, but when I say that, like they're trying to figure out what AFOLs want. Come on. There we go. This is one of the things that they're listening to people about. This is something they didn't have until they started talking to other people in the community. I will say other influencers. I'll say other content creators because that makes me feel less conceited about what we're doing. But like people who are actual influencers, they've been talking to. This is one that was developed through conversations with some of them. And so we might see more along this line with the single figure display. I know they're working about it. I know they're asking questions about it. So hopefully we'll see these guys continue and do more for what the AFOL community wants. But I believe in them, and I think they're gonna be doing a lot of stuff for us. And I think we'll see more of them if they continue on this current trajectory that they're on. Here, what's his name here? What's his name? Sorry. Ryan from Cresthill says, if anyone has an idea for another case they need, suggest it to me and he can forward it to them. We're in constant contact. Feel free to hit me up on Discord as well with the same thing. Hashtag Made in America. It's making a special one for the Speed Champions Ferrari truck. And yes, his big passion is Lego right now, but he can definitely, you can easily plant an idea with the guy. 100%. Anything else for us this week, Ben?
I think that's it. Enjoy Costa Rica or wherever it is you're going to.
Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico.
I would say nicely done on the shortest live stream I think you and I have ever done together. Maybe some of the first ones were this short, but like it's been a while since we've done a 2-hour live stream.
Hey, you know, the flu didn't help, but that's okay. Yeah. Even though we were maybe not as tight as we usually are with some of our topics, still like and subscribe, help us with the algorithm. And of course, if nothing else, you can always remember when you're building, there are no mistakes. There are only happy accidents. That's what Bob Ross has told us.
That's right.
And Bob is right. Always trust Bob.
Pretty much always right. So if we're going to do an outro this week, Any specific one you appreciate? Because I didn't make a new one.
I kind of want to laugh because it's been a hard week. Let's do some Blockleverse.
Here we go. We've only, what's funny is as many as I thought I made of these, because I made some for TikTok. Those are all portraits. So I only have 2 made landscapes. So we're going to, this is going to be from recent memory, but I'll go with the first one I made.
What are these strings and like battery cables? Just like, is that part of his shirt? Oh, it's part of his shirt? Wait, what is this then? Why are there just random wires? Maybe what is going on in this? I think this is from a stock photo of a father building a bomb with his son, and they photoshopped the aircraft carrier with the curved ramp in front over the bomb. Because what is going on?
Yeah, dude, I'm getting a good look at that. You're right.
There's literally a brick of dynamite right here. This is C4.
There are wires. Yeah, there are wires and things just sticking out there.
100% what's happening, and that explains the look on their faces. All of these have been like how to make a bomb stock photos.
Yes, and stream.